Goswicks came here in the first place.
对，时间点不对。
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood.
I'll leave.
啊，又想偷听啊！
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
He...
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped.
Can I ask you precisely what?
It's the pain, sir. The
Can I do anything?
nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect.
Who is treating you?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten
请问
about.
谁是那个年
Wouldn't
老
blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
人家帮你医治，你还说人家年老？
Why do you feel responsible for the
I wasn't disfigured by any gem.
Why lie about it?
Come.
You know you can't hide forever. One day you'll have to face your loved ones. Until that day, you have no chance of real recovery.
My friends all died in the trenches. It's shameful enough to be alive with these stupid scars. I don't want my children to see me like this.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid...
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
他们两个羁绊真的很重。
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
这是
And
重
why
点吗
not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
哦天，太感人了吧，这两个人。
You do realize she's mentally disturbed.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Goodbye for now.
A giant wolf disguised as a hospital.
Pain.
That's Pembroke
Here
nowadays.
again.
Sure.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
How Dr. Reed, is it?
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory.
You remained perfectly nice and...
Thank you, Doctor. That's a...
How did you end up...
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused.
Why did he...
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood.
他就是变成血魔了。
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed.
What is the gen...
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Dooth Digby.
Has the gang...
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out...
People are still in...
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left...
Who should I avoid in this?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice...
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use...
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway. Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she...
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick?
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton?
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel... empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
但应该
We'll
可以
talk
解
again
释得
later.
通的。来
Wonder
读
why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
Fear and disgust on every street corner.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Doctor... I am Thoreau Strickland. Dr. Thoreau Strickland.
多罗
I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me...
I'm a great admirer of your work.
What made you choose...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have...
我很愿意帮你做研究很辛苦，奉承我没有用。
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is you...
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach.
As long as you're cautious and methodical.
You're not the first one to warn me. But I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against...
What can you tell me about...
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival...
You seem quite optimistic.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance.
Questions remain about our capacity.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave...
Do you need help with...
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop...
I see. Well, give me the address, so I may pass by if I have time.
调查任务。缺失的原料，进入后花园。追踪这个就好了。
Goodbye, Doc.
是哈维。
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing.
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too.
Tell me about the doctors.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a...
Are you satisfied?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured.
I won't lie to you about it.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling...
In other circumstances, you would be right.
虽然说是这样说，就是我们医院为了流感这些疾病在忙，但是这几个人对话的病人全部都不是因为流感。
Goodbye.
My sweet girl. I'd read me like a book. Will this shift never ever keep anything?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Aykroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival...
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Aykroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit...
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could...
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
我没必要演戏，嫉妒对你没有好处，最好改变。
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you...
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about...
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time, his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry...
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that.
Why do you wish...
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven...
相信你的判断。
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Aykroyd. I'm trusting your judgment on this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from it.
Thank you for your...
This hospital seems to be
You
falling
always knew the
apart.
words to calm the
But
children.
in the circumstances...
I don't know what you've heard about me,
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive.
and what exactly...
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the...
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Aykroyd.
I only want you to admit you...
拯救很多人，这是我们不需要。
I don't see any reason why I should justify my actions to you.
That's true, Dr. Reed. The only judge has to be yourself. The question is, are you judging yourself hard enough?
It seems you have bad memories of
他
your
他说话真的很让
I
人家不爽
refuse。to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something. Thank you for your...
My sweet girl.
Oh my god！我这边大太阳，明天说要变天，真的假的？我不知道哎。
Never could keep anything from her.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
说我不知道明天要变天呢，真的假的？ 我刚看了一下，他是的，我们回去读另外一个档把它吃了，
You always knew the
气
worst
死我
to
了。
calm the
Hospital
children,
seems to
Ella.
be falling apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
抱歉，我还是要问你问题。
How painful is
好
your
白
throat?
目哦，还问他你的嗓
So
子有
painful,
多
I'd
痛。
rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and...
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful...
So
I'll let you get...
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening.
It's my son who needs...
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed?
What can you tell me about...
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer.
Are you really that rich?
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace.
May I ask if you...
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your...
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since...
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Don't waste your time with me.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid with...
I share your...
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed.
OK OK。
Goodbye. Good evening.
I'm okay.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
好吧。
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
How could we be sure we're making a
这后面我记得。
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as you are. I hope that...
强烈恭维。霍金，来，我们去问霍金。
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated.
How would you describe...
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of you.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't...
I wish I could believe you. But what if...
How long have...
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
会失禁的，你说的对，你要改变这种态度。
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation.
Why does Milton
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned. Milton isn't...
Goodbye now.
我收床费是他，但是却不能问他。对不对
It's there again.
It's locked.
还不能去问他。好，我们来解那个吧。该不会碰到主线吧？
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadigan fellow.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
等一下，琵琶也长得不琵琶了，念错了，琵琶，琵琶也长得太不一样了吧？这是念爬了吧？
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
不是，我讲成那个乐器的那个琵琶了。它叫琵琶啦。
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was...
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do? I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words.
I have some good news.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet, with all the money, and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the...
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
哦，40块，40块又想要封我口啊！
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all...
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this...
对没？他们没有做错什么，其实是还好的。 比起那个收人家床费，我还比较不认同。
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hook.
Yes. Milton Hooks is my man.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse
不会啦，
Hawkins.
你再给我40
But
块
are
的
you
话，
aware
我就
of
考
the
虑
risks?
不
The
讲。
rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman.
Goodbye, Nurse.
然后我们再把这个白球蜘蛛16，那先这个吧。我们先解一点市民任务，然后再走回主线这样。它是在哪边？我就忘记了，这边吗？要打人哦！我刚才很害怕他的火把会不会烧到我。回报喽！为什么要跑那么远呢？这是下一个任务了吧？啊，那就顺便做一做。 晕了欸。上路。抽一下。在藏武器啊。外面就有点那个吃人会有鲜血值，怎么会这么？跟我们观察从布罗克伊2个星期了，吸血鬼的活动。叫太大声了吧
？Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside.
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first.
So you believe it's just a...
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Yeah.
Tell me more about...
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that...
What is it you really want? To save him?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Doctor.
This personal involvement could also appear to be...
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Tell me, Mr.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Goodbye, Doc.
任务不是他的吗？对啊。哦。哦。
As for me.
原来真的不是他的，误会了。
Good evening, Miss Howard. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor.
I have made inquiries.
I did not expect a mortal.
这是个误会，没有人在找你。
It was a misunderstanding. These.
I knew it. I have become undone.
If you'll accept some advice from a petty mortal, I think you should assume a low profile and just quietly disappear into the shadows.
You are right. And you have served me well, mortal. Take this as a reward for your time. Perhaps I will allow you to drink deep of my blood. One day.
Thank you. I'll keep that proposition in mind.
给我他的血吗？
Tell me, Thelma, what do you really...
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and...
You mean you actually saw a vampire?
Yes. And it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
这个有妄想症的女人。
You have no idea what problems your claim could cause if heard by the wrong people, Miss Howcroft. You must stop this nonsense now.
Why fear the truth? Strange things live in the dark, Dr. Reed. Strange and ancient beings that were here before this island even had a name.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
希尔玛真的是一个很好的人欸，太有魅力了。
I'll leave you.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
好，哎，我想要先去点一下，我先看一下有谁生，看一下我们可不可以做2个疲劳。不行，我们还不够。我们就点这个。对。不听。好，你再换另外一个人的属性。是。跑到码头去。我不能开这个门吗？我做完，我们就可以直冲主线。 哦不，我看到下面又有个任务了，快假装没看到。
I cannot enter.
Stop right now! Get them weapons ready! We found one!
手术啊！一言不合就打完。哦，天哪，被吃掉了。
Opium is one of the main ingredients of Strickland's medication.
为什么他不能偷袭？因为他是王啊！再跑回去。哇！等一下，这也是对的吧？
Stop right now!
没事没事。不要走错边呢，走错边就错肩了。
So many.
Good evening, Doctor.
And good evening.
I located the shop, but it was vandalized, and the owner...
I was afraid of such bad news.
That's quite a list you ordered.
This dreadful influenza, of course. I already ran some tests on hopeless cases.
Do you realize you could create a lethal poison with...
Is this not true of any medical substance, Dr. Reed? However, if you would agree to improve it, I'd be glad to accept your help.
As long as you promise to be scrupulous with your experiments, I may try to gather these substances, and even help improve upon the mixture.
That's all I'm asking for, Dr. Reed. That's all I'm asking.
你说的好像你要求的很少。
I want to know about these secret tests.
I know I may sound presumptuous, but I'm just following your steps.
Self-confidence is essential in our line of work, my young colleague, but only if tempered with the correct amount of cynicism.
But you never...
支持你。
You have my support, Dr. Strickland. I know exactly what it feels like to battle an unknown disease, with only your mind and force of will to help you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. You don't know what that means to me.
反正这种线索就是先站在他们这边就对了。
I can't let Strickland put his patients at risk with opium. Perhaps an adjusted formula will deliver more of a placebo effect.
见了。
It's locked, all right. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana.
What do you mean?
You know, sir. It is just that I like to be precise.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many...
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore.
An interesting point of view.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
上医生，你不会就是丢我的那个2个其中一个吧？好了，应该不是。
Have we met?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Oh, yeah.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest...
A pawnbroker? I expect...
Yes, sir.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor in...
What kind of...
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe...
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even good...
Do you really believe...
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die...
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes. But the good news is, we'll all die before...
So you're...
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man.
Please show...
Of course.
神秘配方，我们买这个啦，感觉很需要哎。哦，看一下是什么配方。哇哦！哦，原来我有买欸。8个了。 完了， 阿爸哥了。
The flower's dying. It needs water.
我没办法按 F。哦，哦，还没收集，没有，抱歉抱歉，我误会他了。开始怀疑我真的误会他了吗？我要收集完才可以吧。那我就我主线啦。我们要前往那个太平间哦，各位，准备好了吗
It's locked.
秀。准备好了吗？好 ，It's locked。哦。个好东西，所以要收的仔细一点。我还是想知道那个钥匙到底在哪？会在这。我进来。狂按 F 就对了，有东西就会收到。5块钱。我没有吗？
behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
要是要保护的。哦，他在前面啊，吓我一大跳。这只吓了我2次。
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Oh, 我们要去地下室喽。不要打架了。
These scowls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not out of blood.
地毯式搜索。 快点，快快！有没有钥匙？他们为什么可以敌？我十字架沿糯米怎么了？就是这个保护啊，我想要拿。不要撞！还好我有先知了。就是我这可以吸血。 我们先不要装看看，看这样都有没有办法过。
It's locked. It's locked. It's locked, all right. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this.
不行。
These scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Okay, 一格一格。制作皮宝贝。好，在我找到钥匙之前，我不会再回来了。大家再见。走喽。还好除了2楼那只，其他都比较没有吓到我了。2楼那只吓到我的原因是因为每次我掏出刀子，我都以为他在那一间，结果他在我后面。在里面。
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Okay.
My sweet girl.
Dr. Reed, may...
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane?
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them.
News on the front stated that the Spanish...
It seemed to be for a while, but that was...
What can you tell me?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the...
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
For how long have you been working?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my...
Well, Dr. Swansea certainly...
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke...
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
I'll see you later.
this shift never end. You always knew the words to come.
这样一个，这样一个可以那个。这两个走主线的时候再用就好了。哦，那应该可以去做疲劳症，还有那个任务。我每次都走错边。还有高锰酸钾。等一下谁有？这应该在外面，一个应该是那个喉咙痛的。哇！他们把门关起来了。哦，我要在这里才可以看到他们的行为，在外面那边。好好奇哦，我感觉那个可以听到什么欸。不知道来不来得及。哦。
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
我刚才是不是被看到了？
Good evening.
Dr. Reed.
And why?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more...
Do you ever think about that poor fellow?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him.
That man was
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking...
What did he want?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be he.
Hey.
Only the strongest survive, then? Survival at all costs. Is that all you think about?
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
How is your hospital?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff.
What's wrong?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see.
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job.
要不是为了要那个结局，你还会活在这里跟我讲话吗？
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. Oh.
准备迎接死期吧！出来混，
We
迟
can't
早都要
escape
还
the
的。
consequences of our actions. The past catches up with us in the end.
I ain't afraid of death. I don't hide who I am. I live my life honestly, which is more than I could say for most folks.
And who are you, then?
I'm the leader of the Wet Boot Boys. One day, I'll leave this shitty place and punch in the face all who thought I would not come back.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr.
This place is...
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my...
Don't play the innocent with me.
I'll leave...
我也不想救你呀。
Good evening, Mr.
我把通知关掉。
Mr. Goswick, how are you?
I'm okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for
他
me.
妈妈在旁边。
She won't rest while I'm
王大
here.
生，你再想一想。
She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed.
呀，你妈妈在旁边听呐、你妈妈在我背后很火啊。
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable
等一
of.
下，
She would
两
tie
位
herself to my
左
bed
边
if
呐、
you asked her to leave.
看你们的左手边，或是右手边。
How painful.
So painful.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case.
哦，他想
Shall
他
we
该不
call
会
this
要
progress?
Call it what you want, Dr.
上
Reed.
吊之类的吧？
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you then.
Can I help you?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you
妈妈
tried
都
to
已经
take
听
your
到
own
了
life?
啦。
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
Do you need any help? You are not a burden, sir.
And you have my
I have to...
I'm all right.
This hospital
Don't
seems
waste
to
your
be
time
falling
with me.
apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Your son wished to die, Beatrice. Why did you hide such crucial information?
Are you not aware suicide is a crime? Mortimer could be thrown in jail. I can't let that
我是
happen.
爱自己的小孩啦。
I understand you fear the legal consequences, Mrs. Goswick. But don't you realize your silence significantly affects your son's case?
All my son needs is help and comprehension, not judgment and punishment for what he may or may not have done.
Goodbye.
Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening.
I'm okay.
I-
I'm all right. waste your time with me.
With you at our side, Dr. Reed, I know that Pembroke will prevail and survive this.
好，不会很远，去一下。我又在上面了，又在上面，又要跟人家打架了。你房间就是这个。爱的母亲，当你发现这封信的时候，我已经不。
In this letter, Mortimer Goswick does nothing to hide his desire to die. I could give it to his mother, but doing so would betray his trust.
野兽大腹便，那可以做成大腹便便的。No no no， 我们要睡觉。就可以了。经典。忘记点血毛了。
It's locked, all right.
把这门打开。我还没有跟他讲过话。
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell.
He was also very confident about your...
What is the Pembroke Hospital?
This hospital is not exactly the best of London.
哪里都一样，我没有什么选择。
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But
tell me more.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her.
I'll go even further. If she were...
Any opinion about...
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve.
Ah, yes, the burden of command.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more, unto the breach.
要证明什么？不然，那跟医生很担心。
Nurse Brannigan is worried about her.
She should not have told you that.
You don't have to blame her for...
I'm not that kind of man, might.
Goodbye.
Oh.
continues.
我们要把信交给威尔，还是要给他妈妈？扎的心。
He always knew the words to calm the children, Ella. As for me,
我不知道这有什么影响。而他妈妈也知道了吧？他不想母亲看到他，好吧，那就不要给他妈妈了，这样太伤心。
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
I have retrieved your letter, Mr. Goswick. I can assure you that nobody read it but me.
Thank you. This is for you, then. For your help. And for your silence.
I think you should talk to your mother. It would be good for both of you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I'll think about it. Now please, let me be.
哇，他给我100块。
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact.
Good evening, sir.
再看看另外一个封口费只给我40。
Good evening, Doc.
很聪明呢，把遗书给他，然后再用讲的跟他说。
I have read your son's suicide note.
很聪明。
It was not an impulsive gesture, nor was it his first attempt.
He threatened to kill himself a few times before. But I never thought he would dare to punish me this much.
Punish you? Why?
I've known for a long time he was not happy with his life. But I always hoped he cared enough to avoid making me suffer like this.
对，他们是有钱。
Mortimer is extremely vague as to his motivations for committing suicide. Tell me more about what you know.
As you say, Mortimer had no reason to die. All he said to me was that he wanted to make the world a better place, but couldn't.
Why did your son feel so useless when facing the world?
I think it was more that he could only see the melancholy facets of life. He couldn't help but dwell on such things.
What do you think he meant by making the world a better place?
Mortimer has always been a sensitive soul. He wouldn't talk to anyone for months after his father passed. It's like he carries everyone's sadness with him.
Do you realize your son could try to kill himself again? He might succeed next time.
I think about it every minute. But I won't stop fighting for my son's future. That's how much I love him.
他很幸运有你，做好最高。
You're right. Your son's death was not fatal. And unlike many on their own, he is lucky to have you by his side.
I can't give up on him. I just can't. I have conceded many times in my life, but giving up on my son is something I am incapable of.
真的，都已经没了丈夫。
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Miss.
I'm okay.
I've read your letter, Mortimer. You wrote about an unbearable feeling of despair while the world crumbles around you. Tell me more about it.
There's nothing more to say, really. It's hurtful. It's unbearable. and I don't ask anyone to understand what I feel.
Don't you see how lucky you are? You're rich, you're in good health, and you have a loving mother. You're simply drowning in self-pity.
Leave me alone then, Doctor, and let me drown myself.
Your mother won't let you down, Mortimer. Don't you share her hope for a better future?
No. I don't.
Won't you even try?
Do you want me to promise you I'll get better? Do you want me to tell her the same thing? I could, but it would not change anything.
Oh. 他这样子感觉对他妈妈更坏吧
I have to...
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye.
是自以为的对彼此好。我走错边了。还是没有找到那个叫什么？ 高锰酸钾。
The flower's dying. It needs water.
我到底要怎么把那朵花浇水啊？
The flower's dying. It needs water.
有个未知的人呢。拜拜。 那个埃德加在想说，我到底要去找他了没？你还没。啊，我又看不出来是哪。对，我又看不出来那个位置在哪了。 你要来了没？我等好久，等一下啦！你们医院人很多哦。这不能看。来了来了，这不就来了吗？来了吗？
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be also new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
快让我想想，这不是很简单。
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
必道歉，我们彼此需要。
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Ashbury. Ashbury. 房间有没有钥匙？报信。菠萝。有信了。这里也没有钥匙啊，坏了。真的。
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadigan fellow.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind. The blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
很高兴认识你。
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition. is our little mystery.
I think of nothing.
My situation is delicate.
Oh, 去找哈利特。
You are going to reveal all your secrets to me, even the darkest thoughts in your heart.
My blood and soul. They belong to you now.
The life running in your veins.
Too much energy for
this
so
dead
little
flesh
result.
needs it.
Oh, please spare me, Dark Queen. Spare your
好可爱哦，
obedient
这两个
slave.
人。
So many deaths.
Simpletons, these nurses.
And what of
Bred
my
with
own
no
life?
respect. What? What? What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
冷静，我有问题要问一嘴。
Please calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
他的腰感觉超不舒
How
服的，
brave.
空一块。
Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off, they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
大部分人都说他不会说别人闲话，看这个哈利特，哦，直接讲到爆。
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
On every street corner. The daily routine.
啊，不琵琶啦，必爬啦。
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
What can you... Goodbye, Nurse Hawk. Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite...
If it wasn't for him,
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration...
Do you know if any of the hospital staff...
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
其实，这
Goodbye,
应该是翻译问题吧？
Call me if you
感觉
need
壁爬跟琵琶应该是类似的。
Can you remind me why we still work here?
Dr. Reed will help
约
straighten
会
things
哦。
out in Pembroke. Remember? I thought I was still waiting to see it.
叶青，按下 M， 按下 B 啦。
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
等等哦，在我们进去之前，
Please, sir. I need...
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but... Well, we had a disagreement. And
How long have you been...
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. What can you tell me?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the...
What can you tell me about...
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is... nervous and quite fragile since we came back from
他这里其实有讲诶，好了，但是是我自己没有看清楚了。
This is a dangerous part of town.
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to...
Where was your...
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital.
I have all the...
Thank you, Doc.
哦，我去找你朋友了。 边为可怕。为怕，对，为怕，这边为怕。 收一下物资。
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
I
can't breathe.
大棒棒。
I don't want to die here. I want to see the sky, feel the fresh air.
Oi. 然后你收个东西。
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad...
Okay. I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
Mr. Thatcher, your friend...
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night.
还敢乱跑啊
Are you...
后一样啊后，还敢乱跑。重点是他出去，他不怕再遇到危险吗？你确定你不跟着我一起走吗？啊，那你自己 保重。我是蛮需要一个人陪的啦，不知道他怎么想。下弓。要够咯。
What sort of creature is this?
打狗棒，这样，没事。
Here's what's left.
下面还有原文。
Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
你有没有？他已经不是动物了。那你看他杀了这么多人，在为民除害啊！差点漏掉一个宝箱。动宝船你真的敢真？那我先走喽，是我的，他不会还在那吧？哦，他没有在那了。